The Partridge Family ran for just 4 seasons between 1970 and 1974, but the people behind those famous family harmonies went on to live very different lives filled with fame, heartbreak, surprising headlines, and quiet new beginnings. Here is where they all ended up. Number 1, we have Shirley Jones as Shirley Partridge. Shirley was the warm and steady mother who held her 5 kids and their touring band together through all 96 episodes. She was already a celebrated Hollywood star at 36, having won an Oscar for Elmer Gantry a full decade before the show even started. Her marriage to Jack Cassidy ended in 1974, and she later married comedian Marty Ingalls in 1977, who stayed by her side until his death in 2015. Now in 2026, Shirley Jones is 91 years old, still sharp and widely respected as one of the finest actresses of her whole generation. Number 2, we have David Cassidy as Keith Partridge. Keith was the handsome guitar-playing frontman who became one of the biggest teen idols the world had ever seen, filling arenas and creating excitement that many compared to Beatlemania. Behind all that fame, though, David quietly battled alcohol addiction for much of his adult life and went through 3 marriages. In 2017, he broke fans' hearts worldwide by announcing a dementia diagnosis, and he passed away just months later on November 21, 2017, at the age of 67 from liver failure. His place as one of the greatest teen idols in television history remains completely untouched. Number 3, we have Danny Bonaduce as Danny Partridge. Danny was the fast-talking, red-haired kid who always had some clever plan going, and audiences loved every second of it. He was just 11 years old when the show launched in 1970, already a natural performer with instincts that most adult actors spend years trying to develop. After the series ended, Danny struggled publicly with drug addiction, homelessness, and several run-ins with the law, but he was always open and honest about those difficult chapters of his life. He eventually rebuilt himself through a long and successful radio career, and now in 2026, Danny Bonaduce is 66 years old, still fighting and refusing to give up. Number 4, we have Suzanne Crough as Tracy Partridge. Tracy was the sweet tambourine-shaking youngest Partridge kid who always added quiet warmth to every family scene. Suzanne was only 7 years old when filming began in 1970, making her one of the youngest faces on the entire set. After the show ended, she made a clear choice to walk away from Hollywood completely, got married, raised a family, and built a career in retail management far away from studio lights. Sadly, Suzanne Crough passed away on April 27, 2015, at just 52 years old from cardiomegaly, an enlarged heart, leaving behind a deeply shocking and heartbreaking loss for fans and former castmates alike. Number 5, we have Dave Madden as Reuben Kincaid. Reuben was the long-suffering and constantly frustrated manager of the Partridge Family band, always caught somewhere between total chaos and his professional duties. Dave Madden played every frazzled and defeated moment with perfect comic timing, and his chemistry with the entire cast gave the show a comedic backbone it truly depended on. He was already 38 years old when the series began, well known from his earlier work on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Dave Madden passed away on January 16, 2014, at the age of 82 from kidney failure, leaving behind brilliantly funny work that still holds up beautifully today. Number 6, we have Brian Forster as Chris Partridge. Chris was the dependable and easygoing middle boy, always somewhere in the mix of whatever the family was doing that week. Brian stepped into the role at the start of Season 2 and held it solidly for 71 episodes right through to the final season in 1974. He was just 11 years old when he joined the cast, and he carried a fascinating piece of history with him that most people never knew, as he is the great-great-grandson of the legendary writer Charles Dickens. After the show ended, Brian walked away from acting and became a racing car driver, trading studio sets for speed and adrenaline. Now in 2026, Brian Forster is 66 years old, living a life the show never could have predicted for him. Number 7, we have Jeremy Gelbwaks as Chris Partridge. Before Brian Forster ever stepped on set, Jeremy Gelbwaks was as the original Chris Partridge, appearing in 25 episodes during the very first season in 1970. Jeremy was just 9 years old when he stepped onto that set for the first time, thrown into one of network television's most watched new shows of the year. He held the role for the entire first season before quietly leaving the series, and the reason was simple, with no drama attached, as his father's job required the family to relocate. After leaving the show, Jeremy never returned to acting and instead built a career in the technology sector working in IT. Now, in 2026, Jeremy Gelbwaks is 64 years old and remains one of the most private former cast members of the entire series. Number 8, we have Rick Segall as Ricky Stevens. Little Ricky Stevens was brought onto the show during its 4th and final season in 1973 as a small burst of fresh energy designed to give the series a spark heading into its final stretch. Rick Segall was just 5 years old when he appeared on screen, making him easily one of the youngest performers ever featured on the show. He appeared in 10 episodes that final season, bringing a completely natural charm that only a child that age can genuinely pull off in front of a camera. After his brief run on the show, he picked up a few more television appearances as a child actor before stepping away from entertainment completely. Now in 2026, Rick Segall is 58 years old, and little Ricky remains one of the sweetest and most fleeting memories from those final episodes. Number 9, we have Gordon Jump as Albertson. Gordon appeared in 7 episodes of The Partridge Family between 1970 and 1974, playing small, supporting roles that gave almost no hint of what was coming next for him. He was 38 years old during those appearances, a working character actor quietly building something much bigger. In 1978, he landed the role of Arthur Carlson on WKRP in Cincinnati and became one of the most recognizable faces on American television almost overnight. He also spent many years as the face of Maytag Appliances, playing the lonely repairman in one of the longest-running commercial campaigns in advertising history. Gordon Jump passed away on September 22, 2003 at 71, following a long battle with respiratory illness. Number 10, we have Elaine Giftos as Bonnie Kleinschmidt. Bonnie appeared across 4 episodes in 1972 and 1973, and Elaine Giftos brought her to life with a natural and easy charm that made the character feel like a genuine part of the Partridge world. She was 27 years old during her time on the show, already building up a solid list of television credits, including a notable role in the 1970 Roger Corman film Gases. After her run on the show, her screen appearances became less frequent, and she eventually stepped away from the industry quietly. Now in 2026, Elaine Giftos is 81 years old and remains one of the true mysteries of the Partridge Family story. Number 11, we have Gary Dubin as Punky Lazar. Punky Lazar was one of those recurring supporting characters who showed up just enough times to stick in your memory, and Gary Dubin played him across 6 episodes between 1971 and 1974 with exactly the right loose teenage energy the role needed. He was around 14 years old when he first appeared, already a working young actor with appearances across multiple series, including a notable part in the 1968 show Here Come the Brides. After the Partridge Family wrapped, he continued picking up television roles through the mid-1970s before his screen work gradually stopped altogether. Now in 2026, Gary Dubin is 69 years old, a face that longtime fans instantly recognize, even if the name takes a moment longer to place. Number 12, we have Rosemary DeCamp as Grandma Amanda Renfrew. Grandma Amanda brought real warmth and old-world elegance to her 4 appearances between 1970 and 1973, and Rosemary DeCamp delivered every moment with the effortless ease of someone who had been doing this for decades. By the time she stepped onto the Partridge Family set, she was already 59 years old, carrying a Hollywood career stretching all the way back to the early 1940s and having appeared alongside legends like James Cagney, Cary Grant, and Ronald Reagan. She was the kind of actress producers called when they needed someone completely dependable who would show up, know her lines, and elevate every scene without any trouble. Rosemary DeCamp passed away on February 20, 2001, at the remarkable age of 90, leaving behind one of the longest and most respected careers in Hollywood character acting history. Number 13, we have Bruce Kimmel as Richard Whipple. Bruce appeared in 5 episodes across 1971 and 1973, playing small rotating characters, including Richard Whipple and Freddie, the kind of supporting work that keeps a young actor busy while figuring out their next move. He was 23 years old during those appearances and already thinking well beyond acting alone. When his Partridge Family days ended, he made a strong move into writing, directing, and producing across film, television, and theater, building a particularly solid reputation in stage production along the way. He also worked extensively as a record producer. And what makes his story so interesting is how completely he turned a handful of minor TV appearances into a launching pad for a rich multi-decade career behind the scenes. Now in 2026, Bruce Kimmel is 78 years old and is almost certainly the most creatively surprising member of this entire supporting cast. Number 14, we have Mitzi Hoag as Miss Farrow. Mitzi played Miss Farrow and a handful of similar roles across 4 episodes spread throughout the show's full run from 1970 to 1974. She was 37 years old when she first appeared, already a seasoned television actress who had spent the 1960s collecting guest spots on some of the era's biggest shows, including The Andy Griffith Show, My 3 Sons, and Room 222. She had a natural and understated quality on screen that made every character she played feel immediately real and grounded, even when the part lasted only a few minutes. She passed away on November 22, 2018, at the age of 86, a deeply reliable fixture of classic American television who deserved far more recognition than she ever received. Number 15, we have Susan Dey as Laurie Partridge. Laurie was the sharp and thoughtful older sister of the Partridge family, always the calm and reasonable voice in the middle of whatever chaos the week had brought. Susan Dey played her across all 96 episodes starting in 1970, and what still surprises people is that she was just 17 years old when filming began and had never acted a single day in her life before landing that role. She was a model who walked onto that set completely new to acting and made Laurie feel completely believable. Behind the scenes, the sudden, overwhelming fame took a serious toll, and Susan has spoken openly about developing anorexia during her teenage years on the show. She rebuilt brilliantly, winning a Golden Globe for L.A. Law in the late 1980s and completing one of television's most impressive career reinventions. Now in 2026, Susan Dey is 73 years old and has stepped away from public life almost entirely, which somehow makes her story the most fascinating one of all.